Well, hello, all of you delivery people. I just want to talk to you about one of my runs that I did in the panhandle of Florida. I had requested from DoorDash since November to have them open in Destin and Panama City and Fort Walton and Niceville, Valpy, Blue Water, Shalimar, Mary Esther, Miramar Beach, and East Destin, Sandestin, and all that since November. I have been on them constantly. I have texted them, sent them emails, called them, talked to the reps, and it's like, why on earth would you not be open in a place like Destin, Florida? Because there's so much money and the tourism, and traffic is so bad uh, in tourist season, which starts about April, and pretty much runs through New Year's, and then it just dies. And the traffic is just horrible bad. Like this year, it's come very early. It's floated pretty well all year round. We had a lot of snowbirds this year, and spring break just started last week. Um, it's amazing. It's an early year this year. But it's one of my favorite areas to work. Um, and I do DoorDash all over the states. And grand openings can be fun, or they can be really dead. I put a lot of YouTube vlogs out way in advance. DoorDash had notified me 30 days before we grand opened in those areas. So I put it on YouTube to get drivers to sign up. So we'd have drivers, and I wanted to go and grand open it myself too. So it's been tough because it's about an 80-mile run all the way around. That's not including Panama, because I got Panama open at the very same time. So it was pretty exciting. Although some people have never delivered before and didn't understand what to do and where to go, and if they just spend a little bit more time on YouTube learning and listening to the emails that DoorDash sends you, they send an email constantly. They'll send it while you're waiting to be approved and your kit to come and all that. And it'll have a thing, why don't you watch this while you're waiting? And then it has the orientation videos if you don't have a local orientation office, which there aren't in here because they haven't got to that point yet. They just want to go ahead and get it open and running, and then they will hire people to come in and be in offices and stuff. So anyway, being a pretty experienced DoorDash runner, I would venture to say, it's been very exciting. This was a great grand opening day. Oddly enough, I had a new DoorDash driver on that opening day that said, what do you think it will be like? Do you think we'll have a lot of orders? And I didn't want to say anything to make anybody think anything. I had really good feeling about it. I said, God, it would be terrible if we get like one order, you know, because like the grand opening for Biloxi area was terrible. It was really bad and stayed bad for a long time. Because people just really didn't know. Now, DoorDash mailed out a whole bunch of flyers to people before the grand opening, which some people were ready to go, and some people hadn't even paid attention. I'm even talking to people today that go, oh, I had something like that I got in the mail. Well, gosh, that was months ago. you know, you're missing out on a really cool deal because they'll deliver to your work. They'll deliver to your house. You can load 10 addresses in there. But anyway, this is for the grand opening. My run on Wednesday, January 30th of 2019, the first day of the grand opening for Fort Walton Beach and the areas, and Panama City, Florida. Which, yes, Panama's fairly straightened out. The roads are drivable now. They're just still doing some rebuilding. So it was okay, and it helps people that need work. So it worked out very nicely. But anyway, okay, Wednesday, January 30th of 2019. I had a scheduled dash for 10:30 to 12. And I was running a little bit late. So I got an order at Taco Bell. They had peak pay, really good peak pay. Taco Bell for let's see, $9.89, but it paid $11.89 with the peak pay bonus. And I got an order at Green Wasabi for Amy for $7.92, but it was way on the other side in Fort Walton. I was up in Niceville at that time, so that was like a 15-mile drive, and I was sure didn't want to turn down any orders because I didn't know how many drivers were honestly out there. I knew of one, but I don't know if they hung in there long enough. So I had turned that order down, and my end dash ended at 12, so I did $11.89 there. Started a new dash at 12:03. I got an order for green wasabi at 12:15 for $7.92, which had the bonus peak pay over in Shalimar, which paid $9.92 payout. The end of dash was 103 because I had little short dashes for that day. I started a new dash now at 104, and I scheduled for 104 to 2 p.m. And I did an order at Slick Mix at 123 for $7.51. And all the orders were only like 2 miles away. Everything was 2 miles away, 2 miles away. It was really pretty neat. It was much different than working any of the other places that I have worked. Pensacola, usually they send you a whole lot of miles unless you know where to hotspot at. You have to check out my blogs on how to create your own hotspot. And then I've got hotspots listed for a lot of cities and states on my YouTube. So look up your area and see if it's on there. And follow it, because it will help you so much. Anyway, so that end of dash is 103. And that total pay was $9.92. Started a new dash now at 104 to 2 p.m. Slick Mix for $7.51. Got that order at 123. At 157, I got Parsons barbecue for $8.51. And here, this was a real bad thing. The customer called the restaurant to try to change the order. Ugh. And that's not a good thing. If you are a customer and you were ordering DoorDash, you need to do it through the app and contact a rep right away, or cancel your order. The only problem is you cannot cancel an order once it's being prepared. You are liable for it. So be very careful and work quickly what you're doing, because DoorDash sends a driver over. The DoorDash game plan is they like to send the driver when the food is ready. They will ask the restaurant how long do they need to make the food, and they'll tell them. And so that's what they're following. They're intend on having a driver there when the food is ready so they can pick it up and roll with it. So that the restaurant doesn't get nervous with somebody waiting around. And it doesn't always work out that way, but it's supposed to work that way. And customers are not to be calling the restaurant for any reason at all. None, zero, zilch, nada. Us as drivers, we can't change orders. The only thing we can do is, like, say we get a Mexican order and you get a choice of flour or corn tortillas. So you text the customer and say, would you care for the flour or corn tortilla? You have a choice. And then they answer you. And then that's what you order. But we can't change orders or do anything weird, substitute. We can't do anything like that. We're supposed to only fill the order that's on our app. If you have a problem with that, or customers harassing you, whatever, then, text DoorDash immediately and let them know. Say, God, the customer's canceling, whatever. I don't usually fool with it. I can't do anything with a customer that wants to cancel because I can't cancel their order. So, and I get a bad rating when I cancel an order, turn it down after I've accepted it. So I'll go ahead and take the darn order. I don't care if they cancel it or not. And when it's undeliverable, it's undeliverable. So anyway, and DoorDash donates to the homeless. If you're having a homeless thing, you get to eat it. But you don't waste my time calling me over to pick up some food and you're gonna change your mind or something. But anyway, so uh, that order got that order done, and that end of that dash was 2:26 p.m. for 16:02. I started a scheduled dash at 2:27 because it'll let you clock in a little bit early. Um, uh, I changed my hotspot and then decided I would leave and head to another hotspot. And my end of dash was 3:30 for 1 hour, and I did 0. Okay, so let's see. I did a scheduled dash at 3:55 p.m. to 7:30 with a plus $3 peak bonus pay for each order, and I was hotspotting out in Destin. So then I decided to leave where I was hotspotting at in Destin and go trolling. Trolling is the effect where if you've ever been on a boat fishing, you troll. You put a line out and you sail on or power on and see what you can pick up. So when I say trolling, that's when you just start driving the car around and cruising the boulevard and see what you can pick up. And see if you can snag a fish. Snag an order. So, I was trolling around, and let's see, and I went up into Fort Walton, and I didn't get anything till I got a Taco Bell order, and that was $10.01 plus $3. That was really good. It was like a 1 mile delivery. And then I got, at 5:55, I got an order from China Taste for $7.86. That was a really nice guy that we delivered to. At 6:40, I got an order at Slick Mix. I get a lot of orders from Slick Mix. That one was for $5.72, but it was right around the corner. And, you know, like I said, grand opening day, just take it all. Because we want to have a good reputation all the time. Even though if orders are a little bit small, or, you know, a little far, it's better just take it all because you don't know how many orders you'll get. This was an exceptional grand opening day, in my opinion. Unbelievable. 6:34, I got an order at Joe and Eddie's, which is a breakfast house type thing. They make breakfast, but they were totally confused. Gosh, they were so lost. And when we went up there to get that order, they just were totally blown away. I don't know how many to-go orders they've ever done in their life, but they were really blown away. And they were not very nice about it. And I was trying to explain to them, this is a lot of money for you. The whole idea is to sell product. And this will help you so much. When you can just throw together, you know, a to-go order real fast and your money's there, boom, while you're waiting on customers in a restaurant. So, you know, the whole idea is to make that money, because there's a very successful restaurant in Pensacola, Florida, called BJ's Brewery and Wings or something. And they have a whole to-go order desk. They do more to-go than they do in-house restaurant orders. And it's all kinds of delivery people, Grubhub, Postmates, DoorDash. And it is so efficient. When you go in there, it's all run through the computer. They're a member of DoorDash. They're a signature store where they pay for the service. And that order just is like clockwork. Usually when you go in there, that stuff is ready. Rarely is it not ready. But, I mean, you'll walk in that door and that food is there. And, they make bank. So there's restaurants that are very smart and know how to run their business and appreciate it. Especially these people that get on there free. They need to think about how wonderful it is to sell product. Okay? A lot of times they don't. They just take it as a hassle. So anyway, changed my hotspot in Fort Walton. I did that Taco Bell order for 1001 plus $3 bonus peak pay. Did one China Taste for $7.86. That was that nice guy I was telling you about earlier. Slick Mix for $5.72. Joe and Eddie's for $7.09, and that's the one that was very problematic. I got a $2 cash tip on that order. That was really nice, and it was actually a local sheriff that I delivered to. It was pretty cool, and that really made the night very nice. When people are just really sweet and really kind and go, hey, can I throw you a cash tip? I know we tipped you on the app, but I want to throw you some extra money because you were great. Anyway, that's the difference when the food's really hot and you're really cheerful. It really helps really a lot when you really have your act together. So I did a 42.68 just on that shift in 3.50 hours. This was an amazing day for grand opening. January 30th of 2019 on a Wednesday. Okay, so I had a new scheduled shift for 7:45 to 11. I decided to leave Fort Walton and head to Destin to go trolling, and I didn't like that too good. So then I decided about 9:32 p.m. to troll Fort Walton to Shalimar. 10:01 I was still trolling for orders. At 10:30 I decided I was kind of done. I decided to kind of troll around for about 30 more minutes. So I went ahead and ended my shift. And I did 0 on that shift in 3.25 hours. And so I did 13 hours total for that day. Total sales is $80.51 and $2 cash tips. I had 7 orders in Fort Walton. So that was an exceptionally good day. First day of grand opening. I mean, boom. That was really amazing. Biloxi was never that good. I mean, I worked 2 days up there with 0 sales. I would work there for the whole day and the whole night, sitting around waiting for orders, trying to get the best hot spot so the little white balloon was pure white and stayed on there so that they could GPS me and know that where I was at so they could pick the closest person to the restaurant. Plus, I have really good ratings. And, dude, I'm going to tell you, Biloxi was not that hot. But this was excellent, the grand opening of the Fort Walton area. I wish they would have split the sections up a little more because you could get an overload of orders from one area to the next, and you're talking a difference of a 15 to 20 mile drive to the next area. That's where those plenty orders come in that are really far away, and it'd be like $8 or something. And that's because they have no drivers, or they have a huge amount of food orders and it's going to the next closest person. So don't be offended. Choose to turn it down or not. It's better to cancel an order before you cancel it after you've accepted it. It's much, much better to do that than accept it and then decide to cancel. But I've done that myself because when I accepted an order because money was great, and then when I accepted it and the mileage, and I didn't pay attention a lot. They changed the app recently so you can see all the mileage now. We're in the places where I work, because before you couldn't see all of it. They would offer you this money and then you'd accept it, and then it would say, like 22 miles, and you're going, no. So now it's a little better where you can usually see the mileage up front if they have the addresses correct. Sometimes they don't have an address for a restaurant. They only have the address for the customer, and so it's only adding in from the customer to the restaurant, and not for your mileage to the restaurant and then to the customer. And that really makes for a cheap order. Oh my gosh. But it happens rarely, but it does happen. And ooh, it makes me so mad because, it'd be a restaurant I know, and then I realize later, God, they didn't even put the address in, and my Garmin GPS is not matching what DoorDash sent me on the order. The only thing is, if the order becomes problematic when you talk to corporate rep on there in the text, I don't like to do any phone calls with them, and I'm not answering their calls because I have to drive. And boy, they will hang you up for a lifetime. The only time I like to talk to them is if it's something very critical. and I'm sitting still, I'm not driving, then I might ask them to call me. It would be easier than texting all this info. So, but otherwise, I'm not answering it. You're not risking my life, and I'm not texting you while I'm driving. Forget it. And that's the same with customers. You can call me all you want, but I am not answering that phone when I'm driving. I am not. Also, another DoorDash rule is you do not call a customer or text a customer on a different number than would come through that app. That is for your safety. There's been some bank hijacking through people's accounts in DoorDash because they were dumb enough to do that. And then the people call from that number to your personal number later instead of the masked numbers that go through DoorDash on the app. And they will pretend like they're a DoorDash rep and ask you for all your emails and passwords and all that junk. And then they will go in there and steal your pay. They will change your password on you and steal your pay. They'll change your bank routing, everything. So don't do it. And you don't want to get in a beef with a customer and have them have your phone number and like endlessly harass you while you're trying to get orders and the phone just keeps banging away. You get drunk sometimes and people that don't understand the app. I've had some weird things where people, it seems like kids making orders and they are like using a stolen credit card or daddy's credit card in the order to a vacant house. And then they'll say, just leave it on the porch or some stupid crap like I can't come to the door, just leave it there. No. And especially when they don't answer text, like I shoot text to them during the order. That's how you really get good ratings, is shooting those texts to that customer, waiting on your food. Now, they get two sets of texts. They get one from the computer. After you pick it up from the restaurant, that's the last automated message that comes through to the customer. So they have to pay attention to watch for the driver text, because that's a whole separate thing. Yeah, they can go on the app and see your GPS, and that depends if you have really good phone signal, and all that, if they can see it working or not, if the weather's good, because all those affect signal, your GPS tracking and it tracks phones. So I'll let them know, and I'll tell you why, because they will come to your car to get the order. And especially if you're in an area where there's not numbers on mailboxes, not numbers on houses, and you have no clue, and it's at night, you have no clue what house is what, or you don't like the area, it's kind of creepy, you got to be very, very careful. Although we don't carry any cash, like pizza people do, and they get injured and beat up and all kinds of weird things because people know that they carry a bank of cash on them, and they make very, very good tips. I know pizza people that make $400 tips a day. Okay, I am not kidding you. But it's a very dangerous job. DoorDash and Grubhub and stuff like that is not as dangerous, because we don't carry cash. Now, customers may tip us some cash or whatever, but I write that down on my income for my taxes and stuff. But I love that cash. I go down and put some gas in my car when I'm on downtime. If I have downtime. Usually when I work, I get slammed with orders. Rarely is there downtime. But Fort Walton and Panama have been very successful. The pay is very, very good. On average, most all the orders are, that day were about $20 orders, like all day long, with the bonus peak pays and tips and stuff. But impressive day. And the orders still continue to stay around the $10 and up area. Every once in a while, I'll get maybe a $5 order or something, but it's really rare. But all the orders are quite close by. Destin, the mileage is a little bit longer. Fort Walton, the mileage is not long at all. Nicefield, the mileage is generally pretty short. And Blue Water Bay too. But it's a much better run than Pensacola, where you end up doing a lot of miles. I mean, everything in Pensacola, when I work, everything but the west side, it's like 12 and 15 mile runs. And there's so many restaurants in Pensacola, but God, I don't like doing those huge long runs, because it's like you can only get one order in on an hour, And it's like from waiting to pick up, because some of the restaurants in Pensacola, they'll go 30, 45 minutes, an hour. I'm talking about fast food to go places like Wendy's and stuff. And trust me, I don't even tell them I'm DoorDash. Okay, I just tell them, to go for Vicky or whatever, and most of the time you have to order it with the card anyway. They don't know. Um, so that's what I do. Because some people are very offended by having DoorDash deliver, because they are afraid that they're charging different prices, which there's reasons for that. And two, that people are going to be like eating their food and stuff. We're not allowed to touch the food. And I don't want anybody jacking with my food, so I deliver like I would want it delivered to me. I do not touch their food. I make sure they get all the bits they need, because you don't know if they're in a hotel where they don't have flatware plates, paper towels. You don't know if they just moved into a house, or renting a vacation rental with Airbnb, and they don't have flatware and utensils and salt and pepper and ketchup. You want to make sure they have everything. Now, I buy some supplies too, but those are tax write-offs. All my supplies, my gas, my maintenance of my car insurance, wear and tear on my car, all that's tax deductible. So you need to look at my vlogs that tell you about all that. So when anybody starts bitching about, well, you're using mileage and wearing tires on your car, guess what? It's all tax write-offs. It's supplies for work. You get wear and tear on your car. You can write off your car payments. You can do all kinds of stuff. Talk to your CPA for how to do an itemized tax return. The itemized one, not just the one with the big junk and you just block it. No, get the itemized one and pay a real certified public accountant to do your taxes. It is well worth it. You will get your tax return within 12 to 14 days. I was hired to work in Memphis for the IRS years ago, and it was amazing. And I would work on tax refund times, and I didn't even have a college degree being a CPA. All you have to do is pass all the mathematics tests and all that kind of stuff, and which are really, really hard. Not many people pass. You're in. Your background check, you're in. So I learned a lot, and then I also was engaged to a CPA for a lot of years. So I learned really a lot. He was very smart in his business. He wasn't smart otherwise, but he was very good at his business and what he did, and a very, very honest CPA. If you sounded shady at all with him handling your tax return, he would turn you down, because when he puts his stamp and seal of approval, his signature on there, his license is at risk. So he's not going to do any shady stuff, because he doesn't want to go out of business, and just incredible people like that do really good jobs. But that's the guy that'll tell you, for your city, your state, for your other income, or if that's your only income, it's well worth letting a CPA do that. Do not go to these quick loan places that take, $300, $400, $500 right off the top of your tax return and put in their pocket so that you can have it today, or tomorrow. Why would you do that? Come over here and throw me $200 or $300. I got a PayPal link below, so you can donate and tip according to how much you like my vlogs. Throw me that $300 if you're going to be that silly. Wouldn't you like to take that $300, have a nice dinner, take your family on a trip, go do something fun, buy something you like, buy something new for your car to put on it? I mean, that's what you do. But anyway, so check that out. I have lots of other cool DoorDash and food delivery vlogs. We do have a contest right now running, so make sure and enter in that, if you would, please. And you have to subscribe to the channel. In order to do that, the rules are on the contest listing, and so make sure you do that. And I hope that you really enjoy this, and if you would please go ahead and subscribe, throw me a thumbs up, and I sure appreciate your time. I hope you have a really great day and a blessed day. Talk to you later.